Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Instinct. Today we're going to be talking about a video that I came across by Lex Fridman talking about an open relationship and monogamy. Let's see what he has to say. I'm more inclined to agree with the people who believe in monogamy, just so you know, like fuck an open relationship. Like, why would you want to share with your girl? And I don't understand that. Um, who am I? I am your savior. I am the person who's gonna show you the truth. It's the only thing that matters in life. In happy to be happy in life. Since the since social media became a thing, you have to understand that we don't live on Earth anymore. We live on the internet. Okay, and because we live on the internet, we are connected globally, and the only people that matter are the people at the top, the people who have a large following. Okay, you will never be happy if you are not at the top. 100%. It's like you want to be rich, you have to be at the top. You want to date the hottest women, you have to be at the top. How do you become at the top? Talent, becoming an expert at something, and this is what I advocate: becoming a subject matter expert, rise to the top. And once you have a following, once you're at top, people recognize who you are, that you are a person of value, and people will naturally gravitate towards you. Business opportunities will come your way, money will come your way. The hottest women will want to date you. It's just how it works. Anyway, let's see what this guy has to say about monogamy and an open relationship. Don't
As we approach the end, let us descend into the meme further and further. Ben, you're in a monogamous marriage. In Destiny, you've been mostly in an open marriage until recently.
So you have Ben Shapiro, the most Jewish Jew you ever come across, and and I can make fun of Jewish people, because I don't mean it in a racist way. So fuck anyone who thinks this is racist. But Ben Shapiro is your typical caricature of a Jew, and then Destiny, I don't know what he's a caricature of, but he's just a dweeb, who lets other men fuck his wife. And the funny thing is, I think he's going through a divorce, so his open marriage thing didn't work, and it really hurt him. I do feel bad for him, because it's like you don't want to see another person go through pain, but it's like you literally set yourself up for that pain. But anyway, let's.
How foundational is marriage, monogamous marriage, to the United States of America? Can open marriages work? Are they harmful to society? Ben.
Marriages are the single most important thing that people can do in the United States, because the things within your control are easier to control than the things outside your control. People tend to think about big political change, obviously, about things they can do to change the entire system. But the reality is the thing that you can do that best changes society is to get married and have kids and raise your kids responsibly.
That is, I believe, the goal for most men is to have kids, right? The marriage part doesn't really you don't really give a fuck. Your DNA doesn't care, which is why married men often cheat. Because your sole purpose in life on this earth as a man is to reproduce, to make sure that your offspring is passed on to the next generation. Marriage makes it a healthy way to do it, because it kind of ensures everyone gets a fair chance at this utopia. Because of the internet, because of social media, that world doesn't exist anymore, and you have to understand that, right? That world doesn't exist anymore. It'll be a nice idea. If I had a wish, I'll make myself the ruler and emperor of the world, right? Which I will, which I am on the literally nearly. I am the emperor of the world. But if I had a gift to humanity, I would say everyone deserves, a wife, a kid, couple kids, a home, white picket fence, the American dream, right? We don't live in that world anymore. We don't live on Earth anymore, right? We live on the internet. And on the internet, 8 billion people are connected, right? The top people, the top influencers, they're all dating the hotties. You don't have access to that. So therefore, you need to get to the top. You need to become someone who's of value, someone who is famous, and you need to build relationships. You need friends and allies to build your own kingdom. My mission in life is to find 100 people who believe in what I believe in, and together we'll conquer the earth. We'll build our own kingdoms together. I don't believe in just being a king of peasants. I want to be a king because I am a king, and I want to find out 99 other people who believe in the same shit as me. That we deserve to be at the top. Fuck everyone else. We're gonna rule, and once you're at the top, mate, that's when the party starts.
That is the single best thing that you can do. Can an open marriage work? I mean, I think that it depends on your definition of work. So in my version of work, the answer is no, because what you actually need in order to facilitate the healthy growing of a child is a father and mother who are committed to each other. All ideas about there being no emotional component to sexual activity are completely specious. That it is truer for men than it is for.
So you have to understand, like, by nature, men are jealous. Like, if someone's talking to my girlfriend, if someone's talking to my wife, and I thought, oh, they were getting a bit too friendly, your natural instinct is to become jealous. It is human nature, right? And if you think, oh, you shouldn't be jealous, you're literally going against human nature. It's like literally thousands of years of evolution that you're going against. Right. Now, can you override that? Yes. Should you have to? Like, imagine walking around 100% of the day trying to override your own nature, right? If your nature was to walk and then, you're trying to override it by doing a handstand, it sounds absurd. But that is what literally these open marriage people, the open relationship people would want you to do. I say, fuck struggling. Make it as easy as possible, right? Once you're at the top, once you become famous, once you're a subject matter expert and other people recognize who you are, they want to work with you, they want to date you, you get to pick and choose. Okay. Patrice O'Neill said this to on the Opie and Anthony show back in the day, and I listened to it. I think it was the Opie and Anthony or the Black Phillip show, and it kind of stuck with me. And I always believed that, you know what I mean, when I have a dating life, that's how my dating life should be, and this is what I do. You have to see yourself as a CEO, right, of your own corporation. Your life is your corporation, okay? You're the CEO, you're at the top, you're doing the hiring and firing, and each woman that comes into your life is like an intern, okay? And every person who is an intern has the opportunity to be at the top, and they can date you, right? But they have to work hard to become at the top. It shouldn't be easy for them to be at the top. You shouldn't meet a woman and then automatically she becomes a vice president. It's like that spot has to be earned, and you should pull interns from all walks of life. Every woman that you meet is an intern. Hey, would you like this internship? Would you like this internship? Hey, I think you're pretty. Would you like this internship? They come into your sphere. They're in the mailroom. They have to work up the ladder. They have to put in the hours. They have to prove to you that they're worthy of becoming an associate, right? Then I don't know what the fuck's above an associate, higher associate, management, right? And slowly they rise up until they get the top spot.
Women, but it's not true for either. The idea of a full commitment to a human being with whom you genetically create children, which is typically how we've done it, throughout human existence, is in fact the fundamental basis for any functional civilization. It allows for the transmission of culture and values. It allows for the transmission of beliefs and responsibility, and it gives the great lie to both the communitarian lie and the atomistic individualist lie. The communitarian lie is that you belong to.
So, just on that point, what Ben said about if you have children, you're able to pass on culture as well. He's correct on that. However, the world has changed, right? Before, if you're an Israeli, right, you would pass on your culture onto your children because most likely you met your wife in Israel and she was also Jew. She has the same culture as you and you're passing that on. Right. I'm Indian. Okay. I'm Punjabi and I live in the UK. Right. I'm exposed to multicultural society. Right. Already, right. Just the fact that I was born here, I grew up in Germany. I've my culture has been diluted because, like, if you're glass, you can only hold so much culture. Right now, I've been indoctrinated by the German school system. You know, I've lived in England. I am a British citizen, right? In the UK, I think Sikhs make up maybe 1% of the population. 99% of women, right, are of other ethnicities. So for me to find my soulmate, person who shares my values with, and then be the right ethnicity and share the same cultural values, is highly unlikely. More likely is that I should become a king. All the women see me as a king, and therefore they want to be a princess. They want to be a queen next to me, and I pick and choose the ones that I like. Allow them to come in, and they can fight for me. Whoever wants me can have me, but then it should show that they want me. My other point was the culture of the future is a mixed culture because we live on the internet. The country that we live in is the internet. The culture that we share. Think about the memes that we share. Memes are a byproduct of our culture, right? The music we listen to, right? Everyone listens to Drake. Everyone listens to hip hop, right? Hip hop is American culture that the world listens to because of the internet. Pure and simple, because of the internet. So we culture of the future is shifting. And if you can't see that, look, man, I love my culture. I'm a big advocate for my grassroots folk culture. However, how likely is it to survive in the future? Do you know what I mean? It's always good to pay homage, but where we're heading in the future is completely different. And if you can't open your eyes and see that, you can preserve it, of course. But if you can't see where we're heading to, you're going to be left behind.
To the giant community of man, which is not true because you have a family, and your allegiance should be and is naturally to the members of your family first. That's how we learn, and then we expound that out. And it also is a lie to the notion that we are all atomistic individuals with no responsibilities. We are born into a world of responsibilities. Everyone is born into a world of responsibilities, and
yeah, we've all got responsibilities, but every person has selfish needs and wants, and therefore their responsibilities become very selfish as well. So he's thinking about, from the thing that he's talking about works in from a cultural aspect is if you adhere to a country state, a nationwide culture, which is very quickly, especially in the West, being diluted.
rules and roles, and those are good. And if we do not actually socialize our children that way, there will be, number one, no children. Number one, there will be no healthy children. Number two, there will be no healthy children. Number three, there will be not the foundation for either social fabric, which is the real glue that holds together society, or for a functional government. So, yes, monogamous marriage. I'm a fan. 15 years married, 4 kids. Yes.
Destiny, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's he paints a picture of a great utopia. If I could, I would wish that for every man in the world. Is it possible? Is it likely? Is that where the world's heading? It's a no, I'm afraid. Especially here in the West. If you live in a country like China, maybe it's possible. I think, European countries, they're all going to be just mixed race. Like that's what it is. It's just going to be a massive bucket of mixed race, because even people, the strongest identities in terms of nationalism at the moment are probably Russia and China, and they'll probably, because they don't allow so many mass migrations into their country, they're able to hold on to their national identity a lot more. In the West, it's impossible. It's the cat's out of the bag. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to happen. Yeah, if it was possible, I would agree with Ben Shapiro. I still think most men want monogamy. They wouldn't want to share their wives, or girlfriends. Let's see what Destiny has to say.
I think that when we talk about like relationships or marriage, I think something that's really important is we have to talk about whether or not children are being discussed or not. Because I think once you introduce the child aspect, I think the style or the type of relationship that you do is going to become way more important than whatever exists prior to that. Like I would agree, for instance, in terms of what Ben is saying, that
yeah, what you just said there about children is casual dating in the West is an open relationship if you think about it, because like before, if you fucked someone, you most likely gotten pregnant, and therefore you have to have a fucking relationship with that person, right? A monogamous relationship. In the West, you have the pill, you have contraceptive, casual dating. It's like abortions. Monogamy is an afterthought until you actually decide to get married.
There's probably going to be some structure that is ideal for the care and the raising of a child. I think that having a child gives you a much bigger buy-in to society, because now all of a sudden you care about a lot of things that you might not have before, because not only do you exist in society, you can't just run. Now you've got a child that exists there, and you've got to ensure that everything functions smoothly, not just for you, but for that child as well. And arguably, although we're getting into weird places, I guess, in the world now, like children are the primary conduit for like where you transmit like cultural values and everything. The one kind of weird thing that we're coming up against, that we have been coming up against now for some number of decades and will continue to, is as societies progress, seems like people are having less children. And I actually don't
know. I think people having less children is because they realize how fucked they are in life, that they're not making enough money, that it's too expensive to raise children. You have to remember, the people at the top, they're still having children. The people at the top, they want you to have less children, so that in the future there's less population in the world, and that their offspring, that they're definitely going to have, gets to live in a world where there's less people around, polluting the world. They literally want you to just die out slowly, phase you out, and then their offspring will get to benefit the fruits of the next society. But most people will say that's a conspiracy, right? And when you start talking about this thing, you looked at crazy, which is fine, right? Most people, if you think this sounds crazy, yeah, fuck off. It's fine. You don't need to listen to this. But there are a few people who share the same concerns, right? And how do you beat that concern, right? You ain't gonna be able to resist it. You ain't gonna be able to fight it. the only thing you can do is join them. Join the elites. Become one of the top 1% in the world, right? Like you're better off in that position anyway. Save the people that you love, all right? Help out the people that you love. Raise a family. Become rich as fuck. Have the best opportunities in the world, and just enjoy life. So at least whatever happens, right? If it's a conspiracy, if it's not conspiracy, if it's a conspiracy, if it's not a conspiracy, right? You and me will be at the top, okay? And together we'll enjoy life. It's fine, right? Yeah, it's a conspiracy. Oh, you're crazy. Okay, right. I'll be at the top. Become a subject matter expert. Become famous, right? Have the best things that life has to offer. And then whoever decided that you were just talking nonsense, all right, great, right? Even if they're right, you'll still be at the top. You get to enjoy life.
Know 100% what the answer is to that question.
I do.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah. I mean, an implementable answer that works, that we know we can get everybody on board with. It seems like for a large part of human history, having children, and it still is, having children is awesome, and children are cool, and children are magical and miraculous and all of this, but you didn't really have much competing for your attention to have a child, right? When you hit a certain age and you started working, especially if you were a woman, I mean, childbirth is kind of the next step, and then having a family, raising your children, and then doing that is kind of the next step. Nowadays, especially with women being able to work, especially with women having access to birth control.
Even with women being able to work, it's like, why do you work? For a better life, for a better future. And having offspring is such a big part of it. Like any woman that gets to 40 and she's still adamant that she doesn't want to have kids, all right, cool, do you. But there's plenty enough women that still want to have kids. It's a big thing that people want to do. He's going to be like, oh yeah, people are changing. It's like, are they changing, or are they being told it's a good thing to change? And then when they get to a point where they can't, where they realize there's a lot of bullshit, it's already too late for them. So they have to kind of suck it up and be like, yeah, all right, I made a mistake. They can't admit their mistake, and they have to be like, yeah, no, what I did was correct. I'm so happy with my 6-bedroom mansion and no children.
There's a lot available in the world that's competing for the interest of people that could otherwise be having children, such that we've almost flipped it, such that, as Ben brought up earlier, like wealthy people tend to have less children than not wealthy people.
The elites at the top, they're having children. They're enjoying life. Okay. They only care about their own bloodlines, right? Like they're literally, they'll let you for the next 50 years have whatever you want, right? You get to enjoy it. You get to travel the world. Most people in the world right now are lonely, right? They have no friends. It's too expensive to do anything, right? Because of rising interest rates, cost of living crisis. People are literally growing into depression. Okay, if that's the life that you want, right? Yeah, okay. I don't want no kids. I wanna live this fucking life, and do what the fuck I want. Great, go do it. But don't complain about your poor health in the future. You're gonna be fucked in the future. You need to have friends. The most important thing in life is friendship. Find people that are like-minded than you. Together, raise families with your friends. Right, be on the same page, and do it in a way where you become the king of the world. Become the king of your world. Become a subject matter expert where people look up to you, and you are seen as the authority.
Monogamous marriage.
Children, which is typically how we've done it. Both the community have a family, and your allegiance should be and is, or for a functional government. So, yes, monogamous marriage. I'm a fan.
Like I would agree, for instance, in terms of what Ben is saying, that there's probably going to be some structure that is ideal for the care and the raising of a child. I think that having a child gives you a much bigger buy-in to society, because now all of a sudden weird thing that we're coming up against, that we have been coming up against. I actually don't know 100% what the answer is to that question.
I do.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. For a large part of human history, having children, and it still is, having children is awesome, and children are cool, and children are magical and miraculous, and all of this. But you didn't really have much competing for your attention to have a child, right? When you hit a certain age and you started working, especially if you were a woman, I mean, childbirth is kind of the next step, and then having a family, raising your children, and then doing that is kind of the next step. Nowadays, especially with women being able to work, especially with women having access to birth control, there's a lot available in the world that's competing for the interest of people that could otherwise be having children, such that we've almost flipped it, such that, as Ben brought up earlier, like wealthy people tend to have less children than not wealthy people, or unless you're part of particular religious communities that push childbirth a lot. I don't know if I would say there exists a moral imperative on an individual to have children. I think that there's a lot of interesting arguments down that path. I don't know if we're quite at the point yet where we need to say, like, oh my God, we're running out of people, we need to have more kids. I don't think we're quite there.
Yeah, we're definitely not running out of people. In fact, I think we're going to peak at around 9 billion people. And then after that, society will kind of halve to 4.5 billion. And then slowly after that, it'll just be decreasing to a couple billion on Earth. Do you want your offspring to be part of the next generation? Right? Are you going to be able to afford to have children? Think about it. If you're poor, you ain't going to be able to afford to have children. Even if you are poor, should you have children? Because your children will have a shit life. Imagine what type of father, what type of mother wants to give their child a shit life. They can't afford to give their child the best thing the world has to offer. You're better off becoming famous, building status, dating the most beautiful people in the world, and living life as an elite instead of as a peasant. Oh, fuck.
You've been mostly in an open marriage until recently.
As Ben brought up earlier, like wealthy people tend to have less individual to have children. I think that there's a lot of interesting arguments down that path. I don't know if we're quite at the point yet where we need to say, like, oh my God, we're running out of people, we need to have more kids. I don't think we're quite there yet, but we are seeing, weird demographic trends that are having big impacts on how countries are playing out. For instance, the fact that we have a disproportionately huge aging population that needs to be taken care of with medical expenses and everything, that vote in different ways than our younger population.
Unless a pandemic happens and the aging population just miraculously, you know what I'm getting at.
And that when they die off, like the way that society is going to look is going to be a lot different. Yeah, I don't actually have I'm not entirely sure what the future is going to look like in terms of.
And that is the problem. He doesn't know what the future will look like because he's not willing to take into account some of the crazy theories out there. And if you do discuss those theories, you're seen as a conspiracy theorist, someone who's crazy, someone who's paranoid. Literally, the WEF have a website. Okay, they have their own agenda that they're pushing. They're the biggest companies in the world that are going down that route. What you think that they're just saying this for a fucking joke? The future of the world, okay, will be a playground, will be a paradise if you're at the top. If you're at the bottom, it's going to suck. It's going to be depression. You're going to be, I mean, you're going to be sucked into the metaverse. You're going to be looking at your VR headsets. I guess you'll be numbed. You'll be kind of taken care of. I mean, you'll you'll have fun, I guess, in a way. You'll never be fulfilled, right? The only way to be fulfilled is if you become a subject matter expert, gain some fame, some notoriety, rise to the top, become an elite, build your kingdom, and then you can do what the fuck you want to do, right? I'm looking for 100 people who are willing to also go through that pathway as myself, become an elite, live at the top. But once I get to that position, I want to help humanity. I want to help people I love. I want to help people who want to be helped at the end of the day, because I think life is great. I love life. I love the ability. Whatever happens after we die, who the fuck gives a shit? It's like once we're here, this is a really great place to have a lot of fun. Enjoy yourself.
Pushing people to have kids when every single industrialized country, as they become more industrialized, have fewer and fewer and fewer children.
Rapid fire questions.
By the answer, my answer was go to church.
Religion, yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
Well, we could talk about religion, but that's not rapid fire at all.
And that's it. Closing thoughts. Ben Shapiro's answer to Destiny's question was religion. I think religion is great. I think it can give you a lot of rules to follow. But religion was also created in a time where the internet didn't exist. Okay. Right. Religions have always been at war with each other. And on the internet, does the internet even have a place for religion? It's great. You can live life by your own religion, and if you have a church, a temple, whatever thing you belong to, it can help you guide you in life. But the elites, they're playing by a different rule book, and if you're playing on the internet, you're also playing against the elites. And your religion, will it work? Will it not work? I mean, just look at Islam, for example. Mecca is located in Saudi Arabia. The crown princes of Saudi Arabia are playing a different game to the rest of Islam. Do you get what I mean? You only have to look into what the House of Saudi are doing. That they're playing a different ball game, and your religion can guide you, but the people at the top, they're doing different things too. My suggestion is be a good person, but become famous, rise to the top, become a subject matter expert, and the people that I work with, the people that I can help, they also see the world the way I see it. The only thing that will work is becoming famous in a social media age, gain a following, make tons of money, date beautiful people, have a beautiful family, and fucking be happy, man. So like life is too short. It's too short, and we're here for a brief moment. And I suggest you squeeze every ounce of fun that you can out of it. And with that said, I'm Raw Instinct. I'll see you soon.